Hey everybody, welcome to Epic Empire Team Call. I'm so excited about this call tonight because you are about to get a lot of information about the business, about different things that Greg, our speaker, will be speaking on that works for him. And then also, I had asked for him to share a little bit about so the big question that's going to be coming up, and it's taxes. What do we do with this money that we've earned, right? And we have to pay taxes because we haven't been paying taxes on our income. But before we get into all that jazz, I want to go over our recognition and team numbers. So I want to recap November because I'm not sure if we've actually recapped the final count for Success Club in November. But let's see. So the people who got on the board, we have Denise at 2 points, Nicola, I'm always scared to say your name wrong, Nicola at 3 points, Sarah at 4 points, Jennifer at 4 points. And then the people in Success Club, which is awesome because November was a really tough month for all of us as coaches. So if you hit Success Club, you should give yourself a big pat on the back. All right, Tracy, you had 2 coaches and 5 points. Julie, 2 coaches and 5 points. Joshua, 1 coach and 6 points. Sherry at 1 coach and 6 points. Kelly King, 5 points. Kelsey King, 5 points. Those King ladies. Annette, you had 6 coaches and 9 points. That's nutso. And myself at 5 coaches and 9 points. And then Alex Grimm, I'm so proud of you, girlfriend, at reaching her 10 points. Alex just got recognized as a Success Club All-Star. And what that means is she has hit Success Club for 12 months out of the year. And let me just rephrase that. Success Club 10 All-Star. And as we all know, even myself, I'm at 9. We don't always get Success Club 10 every month. It's not the easiest thing to do. So to say you can get it for 12 months consecutively, it's kind of a big deal. And the company recognizes that, and she will be getting on-stage recognition at Summit for her achievement. So we're super excited, and thank you for representing us well. And we're excited to cheer you on when you walk across the stage, your name in lights. All right, so that is the month of November. December has already kicked off like crazy. I know we have several people already on the board. I'm excited to see that. And then let's see if I can pull up real quick. I got it on my phone. I know you guys don't always update it right away. Make sure you're updating our Success Club document because that's where I get these numbers from. Amanda, girlfriend, I don't even know if you're on this call, but Amanda Anderson has 1 coach and 4 points. She's just like, she created a blog already, new coach, just going at it and just creating her own business and not waiting for anybody to teach her. It's awesome. Denise, 2 points. Alex Graham, you're at 1 coach and 2 points. Joshua Jackson at 2 coaches and 4 points. Look at you, Kelly King, 6 points in Success Club 5. Good job. And then I'm at SC20 at 20 Success Club points. So that was the crazy insanity max. And I tested and developed a system for launching new products, and I'm so excited to unfold that to you guys for 21 Day Fix Extreme, which is coming out in February when everybody is failing at their New Year's resolution. So it's perfect timing for us to come in and actually show them something that really works. So that is our recognition for tonight. One announcement. Make sure you go register for Super Saturday. If it's not the DC Region 1, make sure you find one that is close to home or close to you guys and get plugged in with your local market because it is a career-altering experience. You have to be at a Super Saturday and you have to plug in. So ours is going to be huge. We've got Tommy Migrant, Summer Tucker, Robert Hutchins. I don't know, is Robert Hutchinson, something like that. He's in the Millionaire Club, a founding coach. They're all phenomenal, dynamic, really powerful speakers. So you need to be there, and if you have coaches in the area, your coaches need to be there. And Epic Empire has a whole itinerary plan from the moment you wake up on Saturday morning till Sunday morning because we'll be out all night. So I'm excited for you guys. And I'm also excited about our speaker. So let me introduce Greg. Greg and I met at a Super Saturday, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, I guess. And I was hosting a Super Saturday here in Montclair, and he was hosting one in Centerville. So we joined forces. He had reached out to me, being the leader that he is, and said, you know what, you're hosting there, I'm hosting here. Why don't we get together and do a bigger one? And we did. That went from us doing 25 and 25 people to probably joining, I think we might have had 100 at our first one together, maybe 75. And now it has grown to almost, we're hoping for 500 attendees. So we've really grown this DC market, and he is a key factor in that. The guy is ridiculously organized. He keeps me on point because I'm not. And he has a different way of handling his business. He actually grows most of his business from the message board, from the Beachbody website. And I don't want to get us exactly what Star Diamond is, because Star Diamonds can be tricky with multiple business centers and his wife and all this stuff. So Greg, where are you with your diamond, your Star Diamond rank?
I'm currently 8-star in my primary business center and 2-star in my second. So that makes me 10-star combined.
Okay. So he is a 10-star combined, an 8-star in his primary business center, which is really important. You see this beautiful red jacket that he's wearing? Go ahead, show the side right there. The elite, where's it at?
Oh, there.
On the shoulder, there you go.
Yes.
When you become an elite coach, you get the fancy gear, but he is an elite coach, which is a big, it's very difficult to get. You have to be able to lead people into growing their own businesses, and that says a lot for him as a leader. And so he is an elite coach for last year. He is pushing right now to the last minute to get elite for next year, because you don't get it just because you're 5-star. There's a lot of different qualifications to get you there. So he is right now in the push to try to achieve elite as well. So
yeah, 2 years is elite, and I think I'm going on 2.5 years of Success Club in a row every month. So
yeah,
I'm a Success Club legend in that aspect.
There you go. See, Success Club. There you go, Alex. Keep it going. Don't stop. And then also he works full-time. Like, he has a full-time career, you know, hardcore, like all of our husbands, doing real things for probably the government or something like that. So that excuse of working, he's doing it, and he's making an income to the point where I think he made a big announcement at Super Saturday that he wants to retire from his full-time career to be a full-time Beachbody coach. So Greg, I'm going to give you the floor. If you need to share screen, do what you need to do, and I will mute my line, and then we'll open up for questions at the end.
Okay, great. So how many people on the call were at the Super Saturday, the last one that we had? So 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so like half maybe. So Jatana asked me to talk about what I talked about at Super Saturday. And also I gave a tax webinar. I don't know, I posted that in a couple different groups. I don't know if any of you watched the tax webinar, or if you ever have thought about your taxes for the end of the year. So I'm going to talk about that, and you can ask questions, because like Jatana said, I'm preparing to go full-time in this business. So it's a big deal for me. I mean, because I am the sole provider in my house. I mean, most of you probably have another significant other that is working, you know, so you don't have to worry about things like insurance and, you know, paying yourself an income and things like that. So I've already set that up, and I can answer any questions you guys have about that. Actually, tomorrow is the day that I tell my boss that I'm resigning, or that I'm retiring. So.
Oh my gosh! Yay! Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So it's scary at the same time, you know. But first, Jatana asked me to talk about the Insanity Max 30, which I have been selected to be a member of the test group. And so I am on like day 32. I just started the max workouts. And so I am in a Facebook group, a challenge group with a whole bunch of other of the top coaches. And it's really cool to be in a group just as a challenger, not running it. I'm in there with, you know, top coaches like Melanie Mitro and Scotty Hobbs and who else? I mean, just like, you know, probably all the top 10 coaches are in there. and I'm not a top 10 coach. So it's, they were looking for other guys, what other guys are on the wall that we can select. So I think that's how I got in. And what else? Oh, Sean T is in the group. We have the Beachbody nutritionist in the group. We have the Beachbody product guy, the guy who designed the challenge packs and stuff. So we can ask questions of them. We give feedback to them. Sean gives us a video every single day just about, or, he'll post something or he'll comment on our posts and stuff like that. So, and he yells at us too. So, if you guys have questions about Insanity, max 30, I can answer those. I'll just open it up for questions.
I was going to ask real quick. So you're on day 30, you said day 30 something.
32.
32.
Yeah.
What did your weight change from day 1 to day 32?
So we have homework. So we have to make videos, and we have to take our measurements, and we have to take pictures and all that stuff and send them in. So my official 30-day results was I was down 9 pounds, and I lost a total of 7.5 inches, but 3 inches off of my waist alone in 30 days.
Nice.
So,
and are you dying in sweat? Are you on the floor dying? Because that's what
yes. Yeah. Jatana, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Me, a normal person, yes, I was dying.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. And today's workout was the hardest of all. Sean T said, in the video, he says this is the hardest video or the hardest workout that he's ever given. So
what's the name of it?
It's Max Out Sweat. And so, I was wondering, it's like when you do Insanity, you're like, when you during the first 30 days, you're like, how in the world can it get any harder in the second 30 days? Well, in Insanity, he makes it longer, right? So he extends it to 45 or an hour. But in Max 30, it remains 30 minutes. So you can just think about how he can make it twice as hard. So that's what he does. There's, one arm burpees. You're doing 100 of those, it's crazy.
That is awesome.
And your breaks are 10 seconds.
So you max out, and basically what that means is that's the time where you were able to push as long as you could without stopping. Then you maxed out and you take a quick break and jump back in. Yep.
Just kind of like Insanity, except you write it down. So you're going to record it every single day when you maxed out. And then when you go back next week and you do the same video again, you'll have a better time, hopefully. So you're just trying to beat your own time.
Okay. And there was a question Stephanie was asking, is there any stretching in the video?
There is a pulse, which is an optional day 6 video. I did it one time. Normally on a rest, I just take the rest day. But I think they do pulse in Insanity or in Asylum. One of those had a pulse, so it's similar to that. It's like a stretch, and then kind of a static movement.
So no stretch in the beginning or the end.
Oh, you mean stretching during? Not really. So yeah, remember in Insanity how you go insane for 5 minutes and then you do a 5-minute stretch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get rid of that 5-minute stretch. So that 5 minutes that you're going insane, that's what you're doing for 30 minutes.
So I wonder did he recommend, especially when we're running challenge groups, and some of these people are new to working out and they decided to pick with this one. Is there something he recommends for us to tell our challengers to do before they even put the DVD in?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea that people would stretch before they start. He does have a cool down afterwards, just like T25. So there's a 2-minute cool down. Some of the ones, I think the power ones, not the cardio workouts, but some of the power workouts, you're kind of doing a mix of cardio and stretching at the same time. So he'll have you lunge left, lunge right, that type thing. But there's no slow stretching, reach to the back of the room, none of that stuff.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions about Insanity Max with somebody who's already in the middle of it and doing it with Sean T?
It's funny how he refers to himself as no, he doesn't refer to himself as Sean T. He'll talk about Sean T like he's another guy. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
His alter ego.
Yeah, it's like his alter ego. It's kind of funny.
All right. Well, if you guys have questions that you think of, post it in the chat, and then we can ask Greg later. But Greg, I'll let you keep going with your next segment.
Okay. So how do I share my screen here?
Should be the.
Okay, I see it. And let's do this guy.
Somebody asked real quick, can a normal person do Insanity Max 30?
Yes, because they have a modifier in it. So it's, who is the fit and funky girl?
Danielle Henson.
Yes, she is the modifier in all of them.
Okay.
Oops.
So Bobby, what he's saying is there is a modifier the whole time, and actually I think it's a small portion of the screen where you can see her all the time.
Yeah, there is an option that you can, kind of do a frame in a frame or something, and you can see her all the time. I haven't done that, but I mean, it is good for anybody. I mean, you're still going to get a killer workout. So I would say if somebody is like really brand new to fitness, this is probably not the program you want to start them with. But if somebody has like some knee issues, like, I do, like I'll just modify some of the moves, like some of the jumping moves. I'll just follow her on those, and then I'll, go max out on, other moves. So it's kind of nice,
All right. Very cool.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
You can maximize with the little, there you go, never mind. You're good.
All right. Let me see if I can, how do I get rid of this thing?
Probably just click it.
Click it. No.
It's not in the way. Oh, is that me? Wait.
Yeah, is that in your way?
No, I don't see anything. All I see is building team volume.
Oh, okay. Well, I see the pictures of you guys and it's covering my screen, so I didn't know if that's what you were seeing too. All right, so never mind.
You might be able to drag it over by holding it and dragging it to the side.
Yep, I am a technologist. That's what I do full time. So. You might not know it, but right.
I do actually. Sorry.
Yeah, so as Jatana knows, I am a true emerald, and I like to get into. That's why she gave me these topics to talk about. So I guess most of you guys are probably sapphires if you're familiar with the gems. So this is the agenda that I talked about at Super Saturday. Let me try to go to the next one here. So here, sapphires and pearls, you're not going to be happy, but, rubies and emeralds, you'll be happy with this discussion. So what is the goal of most coaches? So, Jatana will tell you that, her goal is to become a 15-star diamond, and so, my goal is not necessarily to become not necessarily become 15-star diamond, although it would be nice. So my goal is more important to have financial freedom. So, just like I mentioned, to be able to walk away from my job, not have to do a 1-hour commute in traffic every single day to work for a corporation that, makes you grovel for a 5% or a 2% raise every year, so that's why I've been working this business so hard for the past 3.5 years. And it's to get to that financial freedom where I can, quit the corporate job or work the corporate job or do whatever I want, so I don't have to be trapped in this area. I can move wherever I want. I can, as long as I have, the ability to do that, and the financial freedom to do that. So that's more of my goal than to get to 15-star. So let me go to the next slide here. So in order to have financial freedom, you have to understand the cycle bonuses and how cycle bonuses work. So most of us are familiar with cycle bonuses because most of us are emeralds, I'm sure, right? And with emeralds, you can have a maximum of $250 a week that you make in cycle bonuses. So I'm sure most of you are like, I wish I made $250 a week, right? I mean, as a new coach, that's probably what you're thinking. But there's a lot of coaches, and I have some coaches. I have a coach that has been an Emerald coach for, as long as I've been coaching, like 3.5 years. He's been an Emerald coach, but he's built his team up. And now I think he's actually running into this cap. Because he has, a good number. He's got 20 or 30 coaches below him. It's just he does, he's not working with his coaches. They're mostly discount coaches. They're not getting engaged. So he's running into this cap, and he's realizing that it is a problem, and he really has to rank advanced, and he's got to build his team in order to earn more money. So the problem with a cap that you might not realize is, as an Emerald coach, if you're active, all that volume just keeps building, right? So if you don't cycle out, it'll just keep building, and you'll see it there in your back office, right? Now, if you cap out, what happens is all that money that you would have made, it just gets flushed. You lose it. So it just cycles out, okay? So it's very important not to cap out, and that's why you want to build your rank to support your income. That's the most important reason to build rank. I mean, I know most of us want to build rank for recognition, so you can say, I'm a diamond, I'm a star diamond, get on the wall, whatever. I mean, those are great, but that's not the number one reason that you want to rank advanced. So a Ruby can have $1,000 a week in cycle bonuses. A diamond is $2,000 a week. A 1-star is $3,000 a week. So you can see that it's $2,000 more than your rank. So a 1-star is $3,000, a 2-star is $4,000, a 10-star is $12,000. So the question that I asked Tana at Super Saturday is, what does an 11-star get? And you would think, and she got it wrong, by the way, you would think it would be, a $13,000 per week. But what happens, I guess I didn't give you the answer, but what happens is you actually max out at $12,000. So that's the most you can make. So from...
That's so unfortunate, $12,000 a week. Oh.
Yes, exactly. So, so the only benefit to going 15-star is you get the 15-star bonus, which is a lot bigger bonus than a 10-star. So a 10-star, you'll get a $20,000 bonus. A 15-star, you'll get a $40,000 bonus. So, you get that extra $20K, but that might seem like a lot, right? But, I would much rather have 2 business centers that were 10-star than 1 business star that was 15-star. Does that make sense? If I have 2 business centers and I can make $24,000 a week, I'll take that, over being a superstar diamond and get to walk on stage and get a big $40,000 bonus, right? So that's my point. So how do you build your team volume? Basically, you got to be familiar with your right and your left legs and how to balance those. And hopefully you guys are familiar with this. You can be on the left side of your coach, and therefore your left side would be your strong side, or you could be on let me go to the next screen here, the right side. Okay, so it'd be your power leg, your strong leg, or you could be on the right side of your coach, and then your power leg and your strong leg and all would be on your right side. So hopefully you guys all know, Jatana has taught you, what side of your coach you're on. You know that because you see coaches that are below you, right? So you know what your strong leg is, what your power leg is. So you can see on the screen here, when you start building your coaches, you always want to place your first personally sponsored coach, which should be your spouse, on your weak leg, and you want to put your other coach on your strong leg, okay? So let me see. So that will get you to an emerald rank. And so I said here, there's one is your customer, the other one is your spouse. Now, it's kind of funny that a lot of coaches will teach this wrong, and they'll say, put your spouse on your strong leg, because you want your spouse on your strong leg. That way they get, more volume, right? But really, the reason that you put your spouse on your weak leg is because you're planning for the future. You're planning, as we all should be, to eventually, go 2-star. And when we go 2-star, we get to open our second business center. And where do we want that? We want that on our weak side, right? So we want that on our weak side so that it balances out our strong side. So, obviously we want to put our spouse on our weak side too, because most of us are going to be controlling our spouse's business centers as well, right? So like Jatana said, I'm still struggling to get elite this year. So I've got the 2 diamonds already. I'm 5-star. I have the 2 new diamonds this year, but I only have like 100 and some points. And the reason that I don't have enough points yet, because I need 125, is because I was building my wife's business center all year, and she's got like 50 of my points. So I would have had like 150 points, but so you got to balance it. So, elite is great. I love elite, but at the same time, I would rather get my wife to have a strong business center because I'm going to make a lot more money that way. So you got to balance, recognition again with elite, the same as with your rank. Okay. So your goal is 2 coaches a month. I think I said this in Super Saturday too. Like when I started in the business, we didn't have challenge packs. So you guys have probably all knew, you've always had challenge packs. In the beginning, to get 2 points, you could always get 1 point by getting a Shakeology HD. But to get 2 points, you had to get a coach with Shakeology. So I always got in the habit of getting at least 2 coaches. I'd get like 2 coaches with Shakeology, and that would be 4 points. And then I'd get another coach, and then that would give me 5, So, that's how I just hit SC5 every single month, ever since my first year as a coach, So in like 3.5 years, I think I missed SC my first year, maybe like once or twice. So, and I just got in the habit of 2 coaches a month. Now I know Jatana, she does like, what is it, 10? What's your record? 10 or 12 coaches a month?
I think this month or last month it was 9 or 6 or something like that.
Right.
Between Josh and me, it's kind of nuts.
Yes, I would love to do that, but I'm just more slow and steady. As Jatana said, I do work the message boards. I've always had a thread because, it's just, that's where I started. I started on the message boards. I found my coach on the message boards, and I've just been running threads there ever since. But in the past several years, I've gotten really more heavily into Facebook, and most of my coaches are doing Facebook. So I would say that, that's the system that we're using. That's the system that I'm training on. So I wouldn't really say that, that most of my business is coming from the message boards at this point. It's more coming from Facebook. And so that's what we're doing, most like you guys, So I'm getting big into Facebook advertising and Google advertising and all that stuff. So maybe that could be another training session. So as you build your downline, you want to keep placing coaches, and you want to balance them out, right? So, a lot of people say, well, I want to, throw all my coaches on my weak side to balance out that volume that I have on my strong side so that I can cycle more. Well, you don't want to do that because, like I said, you do want to rank advance, right? I mean, your first goal is to get to Emerald, but then you want to balance so that you can get to Ruby, because the nice thing about getting to Ruby and Diamond as quick as possible is because you get bigger cycle bonuses, right? So as Ruby, you get, as an Emerald, you get 14. As a Ruby, you get 16. As a Diamond, you get 18. So, that makes a big difference, in your bonuses as you're cycling more and more. So what I like to do is I like to balance them out, and that's hopefully what you guys are doing. And then you just keep, alternating. And, if you find that you can't really tell who's going to be a working coach and who's not going to be a working coach, I've probably signed up 130 coaches, personally sponsored coaches. I currently have about 1,300 or so in my downline. So in 3.5 years, my team has grown to 1,300, which is pretty amazing. You know, when I started, I just wanted to be a discount coach, and you know, I just wanted to help people. So I never thought that I would have this. But just by adding 2 coaches a month, every single month, like I said, I've never added 10 coaches or whatever like Diana has. Just 2 coaches a month. So think about this, guys. You can do this. If you add 2 coaches a month, you could have in just a few years, you could have 1,300 coaches or more, you know, and get to elite and get to, you know, star diamond. So, I mean, there's nothing special about me, right? And what I'm doing. And like Jatana said, I work a full-time job. I work 50 hours a week. I spend 2 hours in the car every single day in traffic, you know, and I've built this business. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. So continue on. Once you get 8 coaches, right, then you go diamond, right? And you want to try to balance your working coaches. So if you did get a working coach on one side, well then, you know, the next person you think is going to be a working coach, try to put them on the other side. You know, if you start getting more working coaches, then, you know, you want to play a game and, you know, possibly put more working coaches on your weak side to try to balance out the volume. But, you know, your first goal is just alternate, you know, because you don't necessarily know who's going to be a working coach and who's not going to be a working coach. I mean, I can tell you that, you know, I told you already, like when I started, I told my coach that I was going to be a discount coach and to expect nothing out of me. That's exactly what I told him, because he was talking about all this stuff, weak legs, strong legs, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna be a discount coach. I just want the Shakeology discount. So he stuck me on his weak side. And then I decided, you know, after I started getting my product paid for, you know, and then I'm like, this is pretty easy, you know, and then I started getting my car payment paid for, and then I got my house payment paid for. And now I'm making very good 6-figure income. And I've already dwarfed my full-time IT position salary. So, you know, it's amazing what you can do if you just, you know, start applying yourself to it and making it a priority. So anyway, he's kind of very sorry now because he took another coach and placed her under me, and she was the same way. She said she wanted to be a discount coach, and so now he has 2 elite coaches on one side and he's got like nobody on the other side. So my point there is, you don't know who is going to be strong and who is going to be weak. So just alternate, you know. If you try to get into, you know, this person's going to blow up, you know, and I'm going to place them, you know, on my weak side, you don't know. You know, the coaches, you know, that you think are going to be great end up, you know, quitting or doing nothing. And coaches that you think are just going to be discount, you know, could be something really spectacular. So don't worry about it too much. The great thing about like my primary business center, just with alternating and just trying to do best guess on, you know, who's going to work the business, my sides are perfectly balanced, and they've been balanced for 3.5 years. They've always just steadily grown, you know. So I have maybe 20,000 volume on each leg, you know, on every given week. So that's a really good thing. So like I said, when you get, you know, your spouse, once you get to diamond, then the next thing you want to do is you want to start working on your spouse, and you want to start placing coaches under your spouse, because your spouse is your second unofficial business center. Okay. So, you know, a lot of coaches say, well, you know, my spouse, my husband or whoever, he's not interested in being a coach. So what? My wife wasn't interested in being a coach. I signed her up anyway. I told her, you've become a coach. Congratulations. And then I said, you know, now you've become emerald. Then you became ruby. And now, you know, you're diamond. Congratulations. You know, great job, you know. So, you know, she's now a diamond coach, and she's got, you know, maybe 20 coaches under her. And all those new coaches are doing great. And, you know, that's why she's stolen 50 of my elite points this year. But that's okay, because, you know, just getting her to diamond, she's now, you know, making like $500 a week, which is awesome, you know, and that's just money that I'm running through her, you know. She's not actually doing anything, right? So don't be afraid. Sign your spouses up and then start assigning coaches underneath them, you know, once you get yourself to diamond. So that's your second unofficial business center. But then when you get to 2-star, you get to open up your own second business center, your official second business center. Now, if you guys don't know what a business center is, that's when you clone yourself. So basically, you're going to create another, for my case, I'm going to create another Coach Greg. You know, it has another Beachbody profile. You know, it's got the picture and all the information, you know, so it just like you did with your regular one. And then you start building that up. So every time, you know, you want to build that up to diamond as well. But then the key point there is you place the second business center under your wife's or your spouse's weak leg. Okay. So the point there is by placing it under your spouse's weak leg, you're going to cause your spouse to cycle more because she's going to have all those coaches on her strong leg already. So now you place your second business center on her weak leg. So that causes her to cycle more. And then all that volume is on your primary business center's weak leg, right? So now that's going to balance out your primary business center's strong leg. So you're going to get the maximum amount of cycles. Did I lose anybody?
I'm following you. I hope, is anybody, you can put questions in the chat if you guys are totally lost. But even if you're lost, just soak it in because over time pieces will start making more sense.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, if you're just an Emerald coach right now, let's say, you know, this may be like, yeah, someday I'll get there. But it just shows you like, you know, why are you going to place your spouse on your weak leg? You know, because people, they don't understand that. Like, why would I want to place my spouse on my weak leg? This is why. Because down the road, when you explode and you become 2-star, you want to maximum your cycle bonuses. Mm-hmm. All right? So what you want to do is you want to cascade your business centers, just like I showed you. So you got your first business center, your spouse, your second business center, your third business center. So, you know, I currently have these four business centers set up for myself. And let's see, let me move this. So, okay, so let's say that they're all 2-star, right? So if instead of getting your primary business center to 8-star, if you got each one of these to 2-star, then you're maximizing the amount of money. So you're going to get you can make 4,000 in, you know, times 4, right? So you can get 16,000 as a maximum instead of, you know, if I was just an 8-star, my maximum would be 10,000, right? So it's a way to increase your maximum money that you can make. So here is, if I'm just an 8-star and I've got 10 diamond, or how many, 8 diamonds underneath me, each one of those diamonds has 10,000 of volume. My team bonus for the week would be $3,600, right? Which is great. You guys are probably like, woo, $3,600, I'd love that, right? But if I cascaded them, instead of $3,600, I could get $10,000, you know?
And you're speaking weekly, just so they know. Yes,
weekly. Weekly, yes. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? I mean, yeah, I mean, I remember like when I first started getting like $1,000 a week, I'm like, wow, you know, it's like my company at work would be like, you know, oh, you did a great job. You worked your ass off all year. You did in, you know, like 100 hours of overtime. I'm going to give you this huge $2,000 bonus. Aren't you grateful? No, you know. So how do you get team bonus? You get it, I mean, financial freedom. You get it from, you know, just building your business by creating, you know, those team starters, team builders, team leaders. You know, this is something that we talked about at leadership, but, it's just start, you got to start with the starters, a business starter. It's just someone that makes Success Club every single month. And we all know the advantage of hitting Success Club every single month. Then you go into the team builders, and, they're at SE5 and they're earning, $250 a month. So you just want to keep building your team, and then you have your team leaders, which are typically your diamonds. So that's not really the topic that we wanted to talk about, but it was just more of, how to build that volume, how to place your coaches. I think that was the key part that we wanted to talk about. Is there any questions about that?
Let's see. Somebody posted in the chat. Denise put, I'm not sure I understand what she's saying, but she put, so could you open a second business center under yourself and a second business center under your spouse's business? So Denise, what he was saying was, say you are diamond or you're a 2-star, and it's time for you to open your second business center, which is basically a duplicate of you. The best place, and this is exactly what I did for Josh, I just recently opened my second business center. I put my duplicate of me, another me, underneath Josh inside his inside leg. So it's not Josh's coach, it's still my coach, me as my coach. But it'll be a diamond that will count as one of my diamonds. But the volume that diamond that I'm going to create will be on Josh's weak leg. And Josh's strong leg, it benefits from all of you guys, and everybody else benefits from each other. But it'll allow me to control some of that cycle bonuses and make sure that there's volume being built on the other side here, if that makes sense. It's really confusing, but
yeah. So I think the confusing part is that second business center. Is it one of my wife's coaches? No, it's not one of her coaches. I just placed it under her, right? So you guys have probably been taught coach placement like you always do, outside leg, right? Out, like far bottom left, far bottom right. So I, always teach coaches, deep and wide, right? So you always want to go far bottom left, far bottom right. But when you become a 2-star and you start building that second business center, those rules kind of go out of the window. So now in my primary business center, I place coaches under my second business center. But does that make sense, Tana?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, like right now where I'm at, I have a lot of you guys are in my outside right and outside left, and I built that up, and a bunch of you guys have become emeralds and rubies and diamonds. Then I signed Josh, was my second coach I signed, and thankfully I didn't have a strong or weak leg because my upline doesn't add anything to either one of my legs. So he's on, which is actually my weak leg. And when I signed him and I started building him once I went to a strong diamond. And once I was a strong diamond, I started building him into a diamond. And some of you guys are his personally sponsored coaches. And then once I went 2-star, when, Kelly and Alex and Josh, I was actually a 3-star, I opened my second business center and I put it underneath, when I say underneath Josh, it's not going under Josh as a coach, but it's going on his inside leg on one of those crazy people that you never want to click on. So yeah, that's kind of, it's confusing, but you want to know ahead of time, because when you get there, you want to make sure you've structured everything properly.
Right. And so like all my customers that I sign up now, it's they all go under my second business center or my third business center, So the reason that I put them under my second business center instead of my primary is because all that volume, I want to cycle. If they buy P90X, if they were under my primary business center, I would cycle on it 1 time. If they're under my second business center, I'm going to cycle on it 3 times, So I'm going to get $18 times 3. What's that?
Do you sell challenge packs through your second business center?
Yes.
I just sold 20 Success Club points through my first because I had no idea.
No, never do that. Every single customer goes under my second business center now.
Oh. Well, I learned something.
Yeah, because...
So I could have cycled that volume twice.
Yes, 3 times, because Because it's under Josh, right? So you're going to cycle it under Josh, under your second business center, and under your first business center.
Well, there you go. Good to know. So I just lost like 120 bucks. That's good. Go ahead. Carry on.
At least. I mean, but the nice thing is that you can do without even telling the customer is you can move them from your primary to your secondary.
How?
Just by sending an email to Coach Relations and say, I want to move this person.
Oh, and I'm sorry to mean to distract from the call, but yeah, they asked me, do you want them in your primary or secondary? I'm like, I don't care, just wherever.
Yeah, but you can move them now because if they stay on Shakeology, let's say every single month, well, then you're going to get that volume every single month and you want it under your second business center. You just you have to have enough volume in your primary business center to maintain your rank, right? So it's like $200
$200 volume.
So, or 200 volume, right? So as long as you have that, that's all you need. Everything else should go in your second business center.
Okay, we're confusing everybody. Carry on. What's next?
Okay. Any other questions about this?
Anybody else confused or? Jason, did you have any questions? You got it? Okay.
Okay. So the next thing that Jatana wanted me to talk about was taxes, or maybe broader than taxes, but how do you set up a business, right? Like when you guys start, I mean, obviously you know that you have a business, right? You are a business. Like how many have set up a business license? Have you registered yourself as a business yet? So that was the first thing that I did, is I set myself up as a business, just a sole proprietor. So a sole proprietor is just you, right? So, but because you register I just went to the town of Leesburg and I registered myself as a sole proprietor. I think it costs $15. So I have to pay a business license. I have to get a business license. So I have an official business license. This is when I started. I'm not a sole proprietor anymore. Now I'm a S Corp, but we'll get into that. But I was a sole proprietor. So the nice thing there is I had a business license and I could go to my bank and I could say, I want to set up a business account, and since you are a business, now everything that businesses get, you can get. One of those is business bank account. Business bank accounts sometimes have higher interest rates. You get other tools, things like that. They cater to businesses. I mean, they offered me they have PayPal types or merchant services that they gave me for free and stuff like that. But anyway, whether you are a business yet or not, you definitely want to have a separate business account or a separate bank account. Let's put it that way. Does everybody have a separate bank account? Are you keeping your business money separate?
Yes.
Everybody.
I put everything, all my, my Shakeology orders, my business fees, everything is in a complete isolated account so that when I do my taxes in the year, I know exactly when I pay for my Zoom calls, my WooFoo forms, anything that I pay for comes straight out of that account so I can track it a lot easier.
Exactly. So if you don't have a separate account, get a separate account tomorrow. Okay. And then change your Beachbody. You have to call Coach Relations and say, or maybe you can do it online. I think, you might be able to do it online. Change your routing number so that, everything goes into that business account, and get typically a bank account. They'll give you a debit card, like a Visa debit card or MasterCard debit card for that business account. So make sure your business fees, that you call Coach Relations and you give them that credit card. That's what you want to pay your Shakeology with, all your programs with, your business fees with, your club membership with. All that needs to come out of your business account, okay? So any business expenses you want to pay with that credit card, right? So if you go to Staples, if you buy a computer, anything that relates to your business that can be claimed as a business expense, you want to pay with that credit card, okay? So now you can see that we're now tracking all of our business expenses in one place, right? That business account. So at the end of the year, I can go in and I can print out the statement from the entire year, and I can see all of my profit and loss right there. And when first couple of years, I did TurboTax. Okay. So it's nice because then you can see all of your profit and loss right there, right? You know exactly how much you made or how much you lost or what is deductible. So let's say you made $10,000, right? So if you spent, and you can see in your bank account because you used that debit card that you spent $5,000, right? And that includes your airfare to Summit, your hotel bills, all of your expenses. Hey, I bought a new laptop, that was $1,000. All those, that are all deductions that you can take off of your taxes at the end of the year. So those are business expenses.
Somebody asked if Shakeology was an expense.
Yes. Now there are debate on this, but I can tell you what I do personally. And, if you want to talk to your tax advisor about it, feel free because I am not a tax specialist. But I have hired a tax specialist. And when I gave my webinar, and Jatana, if you have it, you can share it with them. I have tax advisor that I hired. He and another lady, they're named Tom and Rhonda. They have a company in California, and they specialize in taxes for MLMs, direct marketers, people in our business. So he was recommended to me from some coaches on the wall, which is the 5-star and above, as being awesome, tax advisors. So I hired him last year to do my taxes. And, I asked him these questions about, can you claim these things like Shakeology and stuff like that? And he said, yeah, I mean, you can, technically, if you read the IRS, they'll say anything that you're consuming, you can't really claim. But he said, because you need it in order to hit Success Club, right? You need it in order to get leads. The company requires it in order for you to be active, right? So he can make a case, is what he said, is if there was an audit, he can make a case that, it is tax deductible. And he said, worst case, they deny it. So he said, don't worry too much about, hey, should I, not claim, this workout program as a tax deduction, or this workout gear that I bought as a tax deduction. He goes, worst case, they're going to deny it, and they're going to say, no, you can't claim that, in an audit or whatever. So he kind of leans more to the, do it side and ask forgiveness later. So, but it's whatever you're comfortable with, I guess.
Do you hear me?
What?
I think he's the one that's going to be doing my taxes this year as well.
Yeah, you really need that guy who's really good in the gray area, So yeah, he saved me about $10,000 in taxes last year. So it was well worth the money. I think I paid him like $300, and I think you can pay like another $100 to get audit protection. So I did that. So for like $400, that way, if ever in 10 years I get the IRS and comes back and audits me, he deals with it. He takes care of it, So it was well worth it. And he saved me 10 grand. So.
Wow. I'm scared.
Yeah. I would have had, he deducted things that like I would have never thought, like, home office, you can deduct, even portions of your home. So I'm trying to think of an example.
Well, like I wrote off last year the square footage of my dining room, which is my office.
Yep.
So part of my mortgage, my internet, I pay for my internet through my business account. So even though my family uses it, it's primarily for my business. So my internet goes through that. I bought a new Mac computer. I bought that from my business account. My summit tickets, when I see you guys, take you guys out for coffee or something like that, I keep the receipt. Anytime I talk Beachbody at a dinner, I keep the receipt. So make sure you stay organized. And I'm not organized, but definitely print out. You guys are gonna laugh.
Nice.
That's my organization right there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is important to save the receipts. You don't actually have to turn those into the IRS or anything, but if you did get audited, you would need to, prove with receipts that you spent, that amount of money on eating out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it makes it really nice to, just be able to go into your bank account and print off all your expenses and how much money you made. I also do the same thing with PayPal. I mean, most of us have a PayPal account. Don't use your personal PayPal. Set up a separate business PayPal account and tie it to your business bank account. So whenever anything that has to do with PayPal, I use my business PayPal. And I use that PayPal like all the time. I use it for everything.
Somebody wrote, if you don't have a business license, can you still claim these items on your taxes as an independent contractor?
Yes, you can. And even if you don't have a business account, as long as you have a separate bank account, you can still claim it.
Okay. Awesome.
So the next step is, Jatana, you might want to think about it, is you want to set up yourself, first you start with a sole proprietorship, and then you want to move into like an LLC, right? A limited liability corporation. And the S Corp is the best form of that. That way, if you made, let's say you made, like for me, let's say I made $200,000 with Beachbody this year, right? So instead of getting taxed on $200,000 as an individual, basically now I can pay myself a salary. So this year I had Tom set me up as an S Corp, and I pay myself a salary. I pay myself $1,000 a month. So that's the only thing that I pay taxes on as an individual. The FICA tax, the Social Security, all that stuff. All the other, $190,000 gets taxed as a business at a lower rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, you're holding your head.
I'm shooting myself. I feel like I'm gonna owe $14,000 in next month. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And then make sure you're paying your quarterly taxes, right? So, I mean, if you guys aren't making very much money, I mean, if you don't even make $600, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to pay anything. But I would say, if you're making $10,000 at least, you should be paying quarterly taxes, and just, you'll have to sign up with are you doing that, Jatana? No. Oh my God.
Kelly, are you doing that? Because I know you've made more than that. Oh God.
Yeah, you really need to be doing that, because if you don't and you owe, let's say you owe $14,000, you're going to get penalized by the IRS, and then they're going to force you next year to do it. So you don't want to get in that boat. You want to try to avoid that boat.
Now. Oh geez. Okay. Next year we know, right?
Yeah. Tell Josh to look into it and set you up. So basically, don't forget state. You have to pay state and federal quarterly. You just go to their website, you can register, and then you can just log in, and I transfer money, 4 times a year over to them. And I just estimate, basically you can look at your earnings with Beachbody, and then you can, so instead of, let's say I'm in the 30% or the 35% tax bracket, I don't pay 35% in quarterly taxes. Because I know that I'm going to have a ton of deductions, right? So basically, I figured out my tax rate last year, and my taxable was like 20%. So I pay like 20 or 22% in taxes every quarter.
Okay.
And then I may owe some at the end of the year, but I'm not going to owe a lot, and enough to get penalized on.
Crystal, what was your question? I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
You said if we don't make very much, we don't have to deduct taxes. How much do you think we should start at? Like, when we make a certain amount, we should start deducting taxes?
You mean paying quarterly taxes, or
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, once you get to like the 10,000 mark, or near there, you should probably start paying quarterly taxes, because I don't know, you'd have to look up the exact rule, of when you get penalized. It's a certain dollar amount or a certain percentage, I think. If you owe that at the end of the year, that certain percentage, if you go over that, then they're going to penalize you,
Yay, Kelly.
But for me, like 10,000, like the first year I was a coach, I didn't pay quarterly taxes and I made $10,000, but I had enough deductions that I brought it down because I went to Summit and I did the Success Club and all that stuff. So really, when I took out all those deductions, I had only made like $5,000, right? So
that's before, after deductions.
Exactly. So then it wasn't that bad, right? But yeah.
But I'm way past that. Okay.
Yeah, Jitana, you're screwed.
Yeah. There goes that 5-star bonus. Let's hold on to it.
Yeah, you better call Tom today.
I had a meeting with him and we missed each other, but all right. Does anybody have any more questions for Greg on Insanity Max or coach placement or taxes before we end the call? It's 10 o'clock. Somebody posted something. Hold on. How does all this work for Canadian taxes?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Do we have Canadians on the call?
No, we tapped into the Canadian market.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, Nicola's on the call. Nicola, I'll try to look into that and see if there's a good resource as a Canadian coach. Miguel is one of the top Canadian coaches, and he's very business savvy, so he might have some good advice on it. So I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
Miguel Carusco, or I'm going to say his name.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else, Greg, that you want to add? Or are you?
No, I'm good. So thanks for having me. I know you guys have a lot of, Jitana has awesome speakers and guests like Jeff Hill and people. So I'm honored to be selected. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you. You definitely add another dynamic that we need and have to get ourselves straight because the new year is coming and we need to make sure we have everything ready to go for tax season. We have a lot of new coaches here who are ready to build the business and they need to know how to structure their business properly and not just go in and have, you have to set placement. Sometimes the company will actually place it. I've had it placed in like an inside weird leg and had to call and email and have the person switch. So keep an eye on your downline. When a coach signs up, make sure they go in the spot you want them in. So all this stuff is really, really super valuable information. It's stuff that doesn't always get talked about because it's not super exciting and like fireworks, but it's very important if you are a business owner that you should know exactly what you're doing with your business. So thank you, Greg. And I will send you.
There's a question.
Also, Stephanie said, is the meal plan for Max like the 21-day fix? And yes, it is. It comes, well, it doesn't come with the containers unless you get the deluxe, but you really should have the containers. It's based upon the containers, right? So you can get the containers. I tell people to get the containers. They're like $18 if they don't have them already. But what I found very interesting was I get less food on Max than I did on 21-day fix, even though I'm burning like twice the calories. So yeah, I get three yellows. That's it. So that's like 3 pieces of bread a day,
Aww. Well, I think they're just wanting you to shred down really quickly.
Okay.
And Wendy, I saw you said it was a little overwhelming as a new coach. I know this call can be a little overwhelming, and everybody's at so many different levels. Wendy's like 2 days into coaching. So just let it soak in and know that eventually you're going to get to that point where all this is going to make a lot more sense, and you're going to have a step ahead of most people who don't know this type of stuff. So we'll have it recorded and saved in Epic Empire. And you can go back and check in on it when you get to that point where you're like, wait, what was that whole second business center thing that Greg was talking about? And so, Greg, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You are amazing. You add a whole dynamic to me that I don't personally have as a strength. So I'm so thankful that we're actually in the same market, and I can reach out to you when I need you. So thank you for being on the call. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. And it's Wednesday night. Tomorrow's payday. Yay! All right, bye guys.
See you later.